Okay, you're back with Armchair Engineer 85, guys. We're doing the clutch side of our Yamaha Banshee build, and I felt I could do a video. There's a lot of videos online about this, but I feel that I could show you guys things to watch out for, things that I saw in videos that they warned me about, and anyways, I went ahead and screwed up and did them anyways. But we're going to replace this idler gear here, and you can see here how much slop is in this, which is far too much. And what happens is the inner bushing on this idler gear, it gets loose over time, and then it becomes hard to engage when you use your kicker here to kickstart it over, and there's just too much play in it, and it could fail. So it is a heavy wear item, so it's something to replace. So I went ahead on Amazon here, and I found myself, I got myself one of these idler gears. I did my research there. I wanted to get a genuine Yamaha part, but they're back ordered for over a month, and people said that they had really good luck with the Amazon idler gears. So when you're doing that, you want to go ahead and you want to get yourself a brand new snap ring. This one here is a factory OEM. There's the part number right there. Factory OEM Yamaha snap ring, because the snap rings too, they do, they lose their holding power over time, and it's just another, I mean, they're cheap, you might as well do it. Another thing we're doing here is this is the inner boss clutch. So you'll see a lot of videos online, and they tell you that when you're doing these down, if you're going to use an impact, just run them down ever so gently, and then by hand, by feel, tighten them down. Some guys say don't even follow the torque specs, and you don't need a torque wrench for basically your bolts that hold your springs on when you get your pressure plate. And I can tell you right now, I agree with that. I have to replace this because the last time I was using it, I ended up breaking off one of these bolts right here, and I was using my torque wrench, and I was following it to spec, and even still it broke. So I tried to save this because these are about $90 to $100, probably $100 after tax, and I had to drill the bolt out because I tried every extractor and none of them worked. So I drilled it out, not what I wanted to do, and I retapped the hole. And I don't know, I'm not confident in it. I thought maybe I could put a helicoil in it and some red Loctite, but I don't want to go down that road because I don't want to be out riding worrying about, if this thing backs out and this whole spinning unit and this bolt and the spring come out, it's just going to wreak havoc. This thing's spinning round and round very fast, and you got flying parts in here. It's going to destroy everything. So I'll show you guys here, like this is a good hole. You can see you pushing in a bit, and that's what you've got. And then you start threading it. And then this one here, I can almost, push it like right down to the end before threads engage. And I was hoping that was going to be good enough, but I'm not satisfied with it. So I went ahead and I got a factory OEM Yamaha Banshee inner boss clutch, and we're going to get that replaced. So anyways, stay tuned here. We're going to go through the step-by-step process on how to do this. I'm going to show you guys what I mean. Okay, so to tear apart this clutch here, I went ahead and I got myself a pair of these clutch holding pliers. Very handy. I got them from Royal Distributing. They were about $25. There was a big sale on today where there was no tax. So I've been meaning to buy these for a while, and I'm glad I did, because I believe the right tool for the right job, and they're cheap enough that you can justify. So I've got an 1.25 inch socket here. I'm going to use these to hold the clutch down, and we're going to zip this off. All right, here we go. I got it resting against here. Nice. So even just the weight of those was enough to hold it, to zip that off. Okay, so I got the clutch basket off. I had to use a bit of heat. You can see the remnants here of my old blue Loctite. It was pretty difficult to get off. As I said, I had to use a bit of heat, and then I had to use a flathead screwdriver here to basically get in here, in behind the inner boss clutch, and just slowly pry on it and kind of rotate it and keep prying to get an even distribution, just because the Loctite was doing what it was supposed to do. So not a bad thing, because when you do use Loctite now, that's what it's meant for. Anyways, so here is my idler gear, and you can see lots of play. Lots of play. So we're going to switch this out, and we're going to change this snap ring out as well. So we got the new idler gear here installed. I got the new snap ring. You can see that there is a certain amount of play that's allowed, but there is a point where it's too much. So anytime I take this apart, any washers, any inner bushings or anything like that, I just wanted to point out that I always lubricate it with whichever transmission fluid that I'm going to be running in this. So what I'm going to be running is this Maxima MTL Racing Formula. It's for 2T or 4T wet clutches, and it's 80 weight. I looked online what the preferred transmission fluid was. Some guys run straight ATF, but a lot of guys swear by this, so I'm going to run this. So like I said, when I put my clutch basket on here, I'm going to go behind this washer here, give it a bit of a lube. I'm going to take this off, lube it up, just everything just to have it nice and lubricated for when we go to break it in. So we got the new inner clutch basket here on. All I did was I put the outer clutch basket on and trying to get it splined between these two gears here coming off your crankshaft. Sometimes it can be a little difficult. So put the outer basket on, then put the inner basket on, then take a light mallet like this and just tap on very lightly all the way around on your inner clutch basket, and it will push the two back and align this up and close the gap between here. Yeah, look at that. That's a lot less free play compared to the other one. So anyways, you just do that and it'll slowly back its way, it'll put itself back, and then you'll be able to get the splines here and do your nut. Okay, so I'm going to put a bit of blue Loctite here on the threads. I've got this locking washer. I'm going to put my nut on here, and I'm going to, it's an inch, the socket size is 1.25 inches, and I'm going to tighten it down to 65 foot-pounds of torque. I'm going to use my handy pliers, my locking pliers, to hold the inner boss clutch, and that'll make all the difference. So you want to do something like this if you're working alone. I was able to tighten this up to 65 foot-pounds of torque by myself. This is just a plastic tub, and all I did was rest it against there because I'm turning this to the right, and it held, and I was able to torque this down to 65 foot-pounds of torque, no problem. So this tool, it may be a one-trick pony, but it's a hell of a trick. Get it. All right, time to get into the clutch plates. So we're going to be running some Tusk. This is a Tusk clutch kit. It's non-racing or anything like that. It's just basically their generic clutch plate. Contains the fibers and both the steels. So you can see here, these are brand new. You can see these fibers are as dry as, dry as toast. This bag here has all your metal discs. So anyways, what we got to do here first is I've got a plastic bag here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to soak these fibers, just the fibers, not the steels. I know some people like South Yamaha Banshee, he doesn't really like doing this because it makes a mess. So basically what he'll do is he'll install all the fibers and the steels, and then he'll just dump it down in. But it's actually recommended by Yamaha that you do this. So I'm going to put all the fibers in this bag here, plastic bag, and then I'm going to pour this. This is the transmission fluid that we're using. Whatever you're using, you do the same thing, and you dump it in the bag, and I'm going to leave it for 24 hours to soak in so that all these dry fibers here will get nice and impregnated, if you will, with the transmission fluid so that there's no damage or premature wear. So I've let my clutch plates here soak in this bag in my gear oil for a little over 24 hours. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start installing them. The big thing to understand is you want to start with a fiber and then end with a fiber. So keep that in mind. You go fiber, steel, and you start with a fiber and you should end up with a fiber in the end. Okay, once you get your pressure plate installed, make sure there's no gap. That should fit tight here to your clutch plates and your steels. If there's any gap, just basically what you want to do is just pull it out, rotate it, basically one hole, and push it down and see that it basically mates up here with the clutch plates. That's the big thing here. You don't want any gap there. If you have a gap there, it's not going to work. Okay, so the next thing we're gonna do is I've got my factory Yamaha springs here. So I'm gonna install these and I've got my bolts here. You're supposed to torque these to 7.2 foot-pounds. I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna run them down. Once I get my springs installed, I'll run them down with my light impact and then basically finish them off by hand, because that's the last time I did this. I did do the torque spec. And, you know, when you get down to like 7.2 foot-pounds, it's harder for the detent on your torque wrench to basically engage, or it's easy to miss it. So maybe I probably over torqued it. And I know it's a common thing here, and you watch a lot of videos and they will tell you be careful. So I'm just going to run them down lightly with an impact and then finish them off by hand, because 7.2 foot-pounds isn't a lot. Okay, so I just got them seated, the bolts here. I used some blue Loctite on it. Like I said, I've got my impact here set to level 1, and I'm just gonna do a star pattern. Like I said, you go nice and light. You don't have to go hog wild. As soon as I hear that click, I just stop and I will finish it by hand with a ratchet. So my pancake bearing here, what I did was I made my adjustment. So what you want to do is you got this little on your clutch lever here. You got this little point here, and what you want to do is you want to line it up with this point here. And how you do that is, so I have it set right now. That's bang on. And what you want to do is basically you take internal hex and you just adjust this center here, and you adjust it in or out. If it's too tight, like it'll stop here. If it's too loose, it'll go like past this arrow here. And then once you get it set, you hold it, and then you lock your jam nut down here with a wrench. And it's as simple as that. So like I said, that's what you want there. You want those two arrows, you know, relatively, pointing towards each other. Now, once I get this, get my cable on, get this in the bike, there is a chance that I will have to adjust it again. But for right now, this is a good baseline. So I'm ready to put my clutch cover on. I've got my gasket here. Michael Sabo, he always suggests that you grease your gasket here, so that if you ever have to remove it, it makes for removal easier, so it doesn't stick. I can confirm it sucks having to get like a razor or a plastic razor to chisel this off. So anyways, I took his advice here and I greased her up a bit, and that'll also help with sealing. So we're gonna get this on. All right, time for some hardware. I got all new bolts here. There's all the packaging. Wanted to start fresh, so now I'm gonna start putting these in. And you torque them to about 5.1 foot-pounds. I'm probably just going to run them down with a screwdriver and then give them a hit with this impact screwdriver, and that will be more than enough. All right, so we got everything all buttoned up. This engine is done. Probably in the next video, I'll check the squish really quick. I know it's good, but I'm going to check it anyways. Just keeping in my pressure testers for the moment. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I still have the stator cover. It's off right here. I'm going to wait till the engine's actually installed in the frame, because I'll have to put the chain around here. I'll have to take it off anyways if I put it on right now. But that's good. Everything's all sealed up. Pressure test was amazing. We got a fresh new clutch, all fresh new seals, O-rings, and all that's left now is to get this thing in and get it going. All right, guys, Armchair Engineer 85, thanks for watching.